lovely people, you are welcome back to the Afrofood Diary. Thank you for joining me today, and if it's your first time coming across my channel, oh, you are highly welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I appreciate you. My returning subscribers, you guys are just the best. Thank you so much for always coming back. Today, like I promised, I'm going to be showing us a whole week in my life where it concerns cooking for my family, okay? And this season, the lockdown season, I found to be the perfect time to do this, because that way I'll be able to capture our breakfast, lunch and dinner, okay, for 7 days. So guys, if you are running out of ideas, of meal ideas, this is a great place to be, just to grab 1 or 2 meals you can add to your menu. Even if you are a content creator like myself, it's also a great place to be, because at the end of the day you'll be getting 1 or 2 ideas to add to your content. Okay, so hang on, don't go anywhere. Don't forget to hit the like button if you do like this video, okay? It goes a long way for us. Thank you so much. Let's get in without wasting much of our time. So my people, I started this documentation on a Saturday evening, and I'll be making okra soup. Meanwhile, in the morning, what we had was watermelon, because we woke up very late. So instead of making breakfast and lunch, I decided to just we had watermelon, and then we had yam porridge made with enough spinach for lunch. So for dinner now, I'm making an okra soup. This has become like the best soup in my house. My son loves it so much. Like, we get to make okra more than any other soup in this house, basically. And then I'll be adding some ogiri today. And quickly, I always leave out some okra just so as to add it to my porridge within the week. Okay, so this is how I managed to get okra for the yam porridge I made during the collab with Nosa Girl, remember? So guys, my meat has been grilled. That's the best way to make my okra soup. And the soup is basically ready. It's not a recipe, remember? I'm just showing you guys what we had and how I arrived at the meals. Meanwhile, my water is boiling bodo, and I made semolina to pair with the okra soup, and dinner was ready. It was an early dinner, after which we went for a stroll, and when we got back home we had some of this pineapple before we retired for the day. Good morning, it's Sunday morning, and as usual David starts his morning with fruit. Today it's banana. Meanwhile, I and hubby grabbed some green tea first as soon as we woke up. And then here I'm arranging some sandwich. David will be using some liver spread, while I and hubby will use some avocado. Of course, David will be taking some of that avocado as well. And we're using some whole grain bread. Other favorite spreads on our bread could be cream cheese, could be peanut butter, could be Nutella for my son. And then next thing I do on this day is to grab some green smoothie. I've made a recipe on this, but today I'm twisting it with spinach and some ginger. Other things we could have for breakfast include fruits, okay? Just like David always takes either banana or some berries in the morning. Some days we go for lemon water or lemon tea, lemon ginger tea. So immediately after breakfast, I was already thinking of lunch. On this day, I was watching Fantastic Favor when she said you're already thinking of lunch as soon as you're done with breakfast, and I laughed so hard. And she was right. It's so true for this lockdown season. Like, all we do is like breakfast, you're thinking of lunch, you're thinking of dinner. Meanwhile, guys, for lunch I'll be making some plain tomato stew. And just to quickly let you know this tip, check the oil you usually use to fry if it tolerates temperature or not. And this is a behind the scene cooking, so you can see me wiping off the splatters from the stew on my cooktop and workbench. Yes guys, but basically that is what it is. Even when I'm filming, as any content creator out there will laugh at this. Meanwhile, while that is cooking, I have my salad ready here, and then I grabbed some almond milk. That's the benefit of staying in the kitchen. Meanwhile, just so as to be careful, I often try to cook at the back of my stove, like with the back burners instead of those ones in front, because of David. He can come there and just to check on mama so he doesn't get burnt. Meanwhile, I have some leftover beans that will pair in this fluffy rice with. Look at that rice. So another tip I have is that when I boil rice like this, I leave it fluffy so I can save some for a quick lunch another day. The stew is ready. Meanwhile, as lunch was cooking, I kept them busy with some watermelon, just a little bit from this. Some days it could be pineapples and some days it could be pomegranate. That's for hubby. David does not eat this. Okay? So lunch is ready now. Let me serve it. So lunch is served and we're all eating from that one tray. You would notice I don't have any mayonnaise or spread on the salad. We don't mind, okay? Yeah, that's the way we wanted it for today. So quickly after lunch, I brought out some of this ice cream and allowed it to sit on the counter for a few minutes. I made it at home with some cacao, okay? So it has less sugar, but then we popped some Oreo into it, so it makes a very yummy dessert. So this is the perfect time to let you know that even though we try to eat healthy here, we are not on any diet and we eat whatever we want. Our key is moderation, so whatever we eat, we try to balance everything out and eat varied meals. For dinner, I had this the pot I used in making stew. I had some stew in it, a little bit, and then I sliced up some onion, fresh onion and otazo leaves. That will make a great sauce for this yam that I'm frying right now. So for dinner, we're having some fried yam and this I'll call it onion otazo sauce. So and we try to serve it in smaller plates like this so that it looks big, whereas it's not so much. The next morning I was tempted to make some noodles with the tomato oil in that same pot behind the scenes. So this was the outcome and it was very delicious. I added some shredded carrots and cabbage into it as well and paired it with banana. I and David, we had this before hubby woke up, so it wasn't part of his breakfast. He had green smoothie instead. For lunch, I warmed up our okra soup and paired it with semolina. Yeah, and lunch was ready. I mentioned earlier that okra is our best soup in this house, and yeah, we just love it, and David loves it even more because maybe it's because it's mild and it's easy. It makes it easy for him to swallow stuffs. But aside that, okra is really healthy, and for the fact that it's a vegetable we added to our diet for this lunch makes me even happier. After lunch, I'm going to be cutting that watermelon, a little bit from it. But before that, I laid out dinner, like the items I'll be using to make dinner. Here is the fruits, and David and just everyone grabbed as much as they want to eat from this plate. Dinner was a nutrient-packed plantain porridge, unripe plantain porridge. It was like, I don't know, sometimes it's the recipe I don't share that turn out to be the best. Oh my god. Yeah. So the next morning, good morning. Today's smoothie we'll be making it with frozen spinach as we had run out of the fresh ones. And we twisted it with some cucumber and other vegetables as well. Meanwhile, that's for hubby, as I and David will be having some yogurt. In that bowl beneath my plate, I have hot water because this yogurt is coming out from the fridge and I wouldn't want to feed us very cold yogurt early this morning. So Reason is sitting on a warm water bath. Meanwhile, David grabbed some cucumber pieces as well while I finish up fixing this breakfast, which is yogurt and some granola. The granola has hazelnut and coconut flakes, and it was yummy. Meanwhile, hubby is getting green smoothie and a sandwich. This is the leftover of our nectarine, and I'm going to be eating that myself. The yogurt and granola was paired with banana. Here is me adding banana here to entice David to eat his cucumber. So for lunch, guys, by the ingredients you will know what we're making. I'm going to be pairing this kidney beans, some leftover iced fish, mackerel fish with abacha, and this was the outcome. At this point, we were running out of stuffs in the house. It was the Pentecost weekend, and it's usually holiday in Norway. So after this lunch now, which is on a Tuesday, we're going out to do groceries. Okay. Meanwhile, this abacha was very, very tasty. Looking at the color, you will notice that I didn't use a lot of oil for it, and I made it warm, which is like my best way to make abacha. Okay, yeah. And the kidney beans, the spinach, I paired it with, kind of balanced it out. So that's why I said whatever we eat, we try to kind of balance it out. We don't just make plain abacha without adding our veggies, adding protein to it. Meanwhile, while I was making lunch, I gave David some slices of apples to keep him busy. Then we went out afterwards to do groceries. Here is me trying to pound our cans. Yeah, so every bottle of drink you buy in Norway has some of your money in it. So after drinking, you are obliged to go back and basically return the cans and get your money back. Okay, this is like how much I got, which is up to like 97 kroner out of those pounded cans. So if you throw them away, you have thrown away your money. And we're back from the grocery shopping, and as usual, because of the lockdown and this whole situation, you wash everything as if you're washing plates and clothes. So here is the washing, and we decided to change our cream cheese to the one with less fat this time around. Lunch is going to be jollof rice and salad and some protein. Remember, I've been up and about the whole day, guys, and how did I arrive at that yummy meal? I had my plain tomato stew from Sunday, remember? And I also have some goat meat and chicken and some stock already. So it wasn't easy to fix a quick jollof rice. I added some chunks of carrots in it, and then I paired it with some salad. I didn't have to cut from scratch. Yeah, remember our last video about making salads in no time, like fixing quick salads for your family. Okay, yeah, so we arrived at this in no time, and it just made my life easy. The next day, good morning, David is having some strawberries and blueberries. He's also going to get some bread while I quickly fix a smoothie. We're using spinach, and here is my portion. I'll just go ahead now and download it. I feel like at this point you guys have grabbed the gist already. Most of the mornings we don't all eat the same thing. What I and hubby will have in common might be just the green smoothie. Then he might have bread. Sometimes I might have yogurt or with granola, Sometimes it could be oatmeal as well. Meanwhile, hubby started work this week, so for dinner we're eating moi moi, and I had to soak the beans. But for lunch, I and David, we had some of our leftover okra soup with semolina. Meanwhile, after lunch, while David is busy with other things, I cut up some cassava to make more akpo mmiri, as the one I made before had finished. We'll be pairing our dinner with some salmon and some plantains. And today, guys, just behind the scene cooking, I wouldn't be using those cute ramekins. I will be baking my moi moi in this bigger foil and bread container. It makes life easy for me, and you can see that that's a blooper. I have my seasoning cube settled down at the bottom of my pot. Yeah, luckily I didn't pour it into the moi moi. Meanwhile, it was really a sunny day, and we had this habit of grabbing dessert before the dinner is served. Who else does this? Please let me know in the comment section. But this is what our dinner was, and while dinner was prepping, this movie was on. I really enjoyed that movie. It's called Native Girl, and it was just a very it was just comedy, in fact. After dinner, I went ahead to cut up the rest of the moi moi. This is kind of a meal prep. I just cut it up in cubes and save for another day. And since we didn't have enough veggies in our dinner, we went ahead to grab some oranges. The next morning is a bright, beautiful day as well. The sun is up. And the breakfast for today would be oatmeal for I and David. We're using this old-fashioned traditional oats. And in there I've got some milk and a little bit of salt. We'll be pairing it with some blueberries and strawberries. But meanwhile, the first thing we did was grab green tea, I and hubby. And here making a green smoothie for him with some spinach. I've added some ginger, and I'll be switching a green apple for the red one, and then squeezing in some lemon juice, just twisting things up. This is for David, and it's ready. Hubby will be having some toast, as he is not going to be eating some of that oatmeal. Here is mine. I just sliced in some green apples into mine as well, some blueberries and some strawberries. Yum. For lunch, we had this yummy yam pottage. Don't worry, I will share this recipe with us, okay? Just hang on for me in the next few uploads. Meanwhile, for dinner, we had some of our leftover rice, some of our leftover beans, and some goat meat. And I paired it with some well dressed cabbage and carrot salad. And here is our stew from Sunday, remember? Yeah, so just make life easy for us. We added some of that moi moi as well. So this was a complete dinner. Good morning, guys. It's finally Friday and hubby is at work. Meanwhile, we all had green smoothie early that morning, and David had some berries. But about an hour or two later, here I'm filming the pap preparation video that is already up, and that was what we had for breakfast, I and David. Meanwhile, he had more of banana, and we paired it with bread and he had some biscuits and avocado. Yeah, just grabbed things. Fridays are usually when we eat up most of our leftovers. So for lunch, we're having this leftover yam pottage. That's also what hubby took for work. And then that salmon salad. David had some biscuit, and for dinner, I'll be preparing onubu soup. Don't worry, guys, I will share this recipe as well. Meanwhile, in between, all we do is grab little fruits in the house, and our onubu soup was ready close to dinner. And yeah, we had an early dinner just like us the other days. So, and afterwards we go for a walk, and when we get back, we can choose to have some fruits yeah, shortly before retiring to bed. Our soup is ready for the next week, and the last thing is to wash up. Guys, it's been a long video. Thank you so much. If you are still here at this point, I appreciate you. It's Eba and soup. Eba and soup. Come. Mommy will finish it all. Come. Let's go.